Okay, on this nice Wednesday midweek. So what you are doing today is the reason why I'm also recording a video for this is because tomorrow is a repeat of this day and it's going to be asynchronous for PTCs, and so I want to make sure that we keep that cohesion and that you get the same thing that they are getting and they're getting what you're getting. So today is also very straightforward and kind of similar to what I've mentioned last time we had a lesson and what we're going to be doing. So if you head to your Schoology today, you'll see that it's laid out very similarly to what we had from before with the steps, except it's just a little bit more simplified. I will include the video here, but I've included the PowerPoints here in case, just so you don't have to like scroll down. And then you have a few steps. The first step is to analyze a visual text, and it is an ad. Since your common assessment will have an ad, there's a lot of visual text we could have used. We could use a piece of art. We could use, a video. There's so many different things. A video would be a little bit hard for a common assessment, but an ad is something that can be easily analyzed for that. Okay. Then we have a rhetoric step, step 2 says rhetoric, common A outline. I mentioned that I'm going to include this with for you in terms of how to outline your common assessment. And then step 3 is the really bulk of this, or the second kind of big idea that we want to get out here, and it is creating a cheat sheet. So let me just go over what each one is about. Okay, so the first thing is to step 1 is to analyze a visual text, which is the ad. So what you're doing is it looks very similar to what you've done before with the other texts. So the instructions are straightforward, they're exactly the same. And then you have the ad, and this is a Stabilo ad. Okay, so make sure that you read it, make sure that you look over, notice what is happening here. And if you need to maybe research someone that you don't know, do that. Just look it up just to make sure what is happening. And then you see it's a similar procedure of tables. Okay, you have your logos, pathos, ethos, and explanation of why. Okay, try to get at least 2 for ethos, pathos, and logos. I give you spaces for 3 examples. Try to get at least 2. If you have more, you can always add another line. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 2 is to look into the, all I need you to do is actually just look at the outline and just make sure that you are familiar with that outline. So the outline looks like this. I'm going to share it with you here. The outline looks like this. If you've downloaded already, that's great, but essentially it's like these tables. It breaks down how you might want to structure your analysis. Below is a graphic organizer that could help you. Remember that as you examine the ways in which speaker utilizes the 3 appeals, you will need to identify specific rhetorical devices and authorial choices. What does that mean? Metaphors, right? Symbols. Does a metaphor help with the ethos or pathos or logos? Does maybe symbolism, do similes, does diction, does strong scientific diction help with ethos here? That contributes to thesis, right? So that's what you want to be looking for. And this is how you want to structure it. Here's your introduction. You want to say the primary audience, what tells you, primary purpose, what tells you, your thesis, right? And it's pretty straightforward, similar to what you've done before. Body paragraph 1 could be just for ethos, body paragraph 2 for logos, body paragraph 3 for pathos, right? Just making sure that you are coming back for that specific primary audience that you identified and coming back to your thesis, which is essentially what you're going to say in your thesis, right? And then conclusion is very similar. Brief summary of what you got outlined. And the so what? Why does this exist? Why should we care about it? Okay, so if you would like to use this to analyze the ad or any of the text that I've already given to you, feel free to do that and turn it in as extra practice, and I can give you feedback on that. Okay, so then step 3. I'm going to go into Schoology for that, is where the fun comes in, is where you get to create a cheat sheet for yourself for the common assessment. Let me go over that one real quick. And that's here, step 3. And these 2 are assignments that you'll be submitting here. And I've just put the directions here, and you'll be able to just submit it. So a cheat sheet. You will use the rest of the class time to create yourself a handwritten cheat sheet for your common assessment. It needs to be half standard page. So if you have a full page, which is like 11 by 8, you just basically half it. So it's essentially the size of like a notebook, right? A notebook page. It does need to be handwritten. You can put anything that you think will be useful for you in writing your common assessment. So stuff regarding logos, pathos, maybe example, maybe it is stuff from the PPT, some notes that you just cannot see on here is that you understand how the author uses those logos and pathos, meaning how does it all kind of sit in your head, right? We talk about literary devices and authorial choices as tools that the author uses to kind of build the book, right? How does that work in rhetoric? Okay, how would you imagine that? How would you put that into an image to demonstrate that understanding? Okay, and there's really no wrong way to do it. Whoops. You could do it in the form of a diagram. It doesn't have to be like an image, you know, of like a high kind of defined something. It could be a diagram. You could show me a logical way that you understand this. It could be a flow chart. It could be a cartoon if you're heading into that direction. It could be a table. And then if you're not sure that your idea qualifies as an image, check in with me. You describe what you want to do, describe your idea to me and say, is this something possible? This is how I see it. Does this qualify as an image? And then I can approve or not approve. Then to submit, you'll just take a picture of the front and the back of your cheat sheet and submit it to your Schoology here. If you would rather just take a sheet of paper and fold it in half and just do the 2 sides of it, and when you like take it out, it's just the 8 by 11, but it's split by 2. That's fine as well if you like, I just don't want to flip it. But as long as you just put it in half and kind of separate those 2 things, that works for me. Okay, so that's all for this day for the lessons. While you guys are doing this, I will be looking over your feedback, your text for Virginia or your Asians. Do Asians play a role in the Great White Way? And I will be giving you your feedback there. If you've gotten a 4, that means you're good to go. And you're doing things correctly, you're identifying it correctly. If maybe you get a 3, there's some work that you might need to do. It means that you're not fully connecting your evidence to, you're not explaining why that's logos, you're not explaining why that's these ethos, etc. If you get a 2, it just means that there's a lot of things that you're not connecting, and maybe you're misplacing things. You're misplacing ethos as logos as pathos, and so on and so forth. If you get a 1, it just means that you're not done, and I'm not seeing enough to really grade you, or that means that you're just not getting it. It means you'll be hearing from me on that. Okay, so that's kind of just the feedback to expect. Let me know if you have any questions. Do put that into the chat, or at any point just ask throughout the meeting. Okay, have a fun time doing your cheat sheet.